very well endowed. Whether it be her biology or her financial situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And someone commented, ew, her boobs are bigger than my future. So you're gonna die soon, or what are you saying? Did you know that JCPenney once had a teapot that looked like Adolf Hitler saluting? Damage control. Lindsay Lohan tweeted, "Hello Facebook, yes, this is actually Lindsay. Welcome to my Facebook page." Yes, welcome to Twitter, Lindsay. Twitter. By the way, she totally posed nude for stuff, so you can't really be that mad at her. There's also a picture of her crawling out of a car, and she's not wearing any underwear. I don't say the word cringy often, but her vagina makes me cringe. I was gonna Snapchat this, but I think Facebook is better. And then, uh-oh, busted by dad. Facebook would have busted you anyway. They're super phobic of women's breasts. Apparently this chick's mom said, "Look at my beautiful daughter," and her daughter's very upset about it. My question is, why did your mom have that photo? And why does she think that's something to put on her Facebook? Is your mom an incest lesbian by chance? Does this picture creep you out? It should. Bro, any girl you date who finds out you posted this later in life, well, she's probably gonna be dry as a desert. So this is truly awesome. Seems like a typical Facebook post, right? Chick is desperate to be validated, so she posts a picture of her starved body and excitedly awaits comments. "You'll never ever get me back, baby, plain to see. Everybody wants a girl like me."
How could I ever miss it if she keeps posting photos of it every day?
"John, get off my page."
Katie, put some clothes on.
"Maybe you need to listen to the words of that song. You had your chance."
Bitch, we broke up like 4 months ago.
Yeah, that's right, big girls. Skinny bitches have problems too. Thinness can't buy happiness. Support breast cancer. Set the tatas free. October 13th, no bra day. Seems fine, right? Yeah, until you think about it. Why would I want to support breast cancer?
Oh my god.
We're stupid. This gorgeous girl has something to say. "Sometimes I wonder why guys think boobies are so awesome. Then I grab my own and I remember why." But someone has something smart to say.
Can I grab yours and remember why too?
I mean, it's a fair question.
Ah, boobies.
LOL mom selfie time. Boom, there's the selfie.
Regina, this picture is trashy. Take it down immediately. And why does the baby have a knife? Pick up the phone now. Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Regina, why'd you do this to our family?
You embarrassed me on Facebook. How can I go back to my life now?
7 years after this incident went down, Andy killed himself. "Gina, you caused Andy to die." None of that's true, but I made some people feel some stuff when I said it. I am powerful. Here we have another Regina that seems to be upset. Great dad, they're just posting pictures of his daughter. Not at all creepy. Second month anniversary with my bae. And this person says, "LOL, Google says this is a mail order bride." Okay, let's fact some pictures of his daughter. Not at all creepy. Second month anniversary with my bae. And this person says, "LOL, Google says this is a mail order bride." Okay, let's fact check. Just go search by image. And pages that include matching images are called free XXX teen video HD wallpapers. That sounds innocent. Let's click on it. So this is super rude. It says Zoe is saving for her boob job, but then the dogs unleash themselves.
What? LOL? Not even joking, are you?
Zoe, you don't need one. Nope, Claire. I'm really saving now that I paid off my car.
I'm saving for a hand job. What was the price again?
$300. Not sure though. Am I right, Zoe?
She's normally cheaper than that.
4 months after this picture was uploaded, Zoe killed herself. Works every time. Just end it with someone killing themselves. Here's a cute girl, right? Well, on Facebook, she got some weird comments.
Ugh, I love you. I love you because what a sexy pic and I feel to F you hard. And if you are there in Mumbai, then I will do, but you're lucky. Mwah.
Alrighty, you've officially gone into creepy territory. Carly, who the hell is this guy?
Keep your mouth shut, beach. Go ahead. I want someone.
You, sir, are a detestable excuse for a human being.
Actually, no, he's just really horny, and he doesn't have a filter on his mouth, so maybe calm down. Here's a fun picture. Girl's got nice curves. She says, "Boss out, boobs out." So instead of working, you're taking selfies. Unfortunately, your boss responded with "you're fired." Kevin responded to that with, "Oh." Long story short, if your boobs are coming out, make sure it's not at work. I mean, duh, right? Love isn't easy. Not a good day. I need a drink. Ruining another relationship? Did not see that coming. You're just jealous he chose me over your fugly ass. A 26-year-old with no job and a stupid goatee? I don't know how I'll live without him. Hey, my goatee isn't stupid. 7 days after this was posted to Facebook, Matt killed himself. He used a rope. He was dangling there, hanging from the ceiling of his house. Do you not understand how serious bullying on Facebook is? But today, we can come together and we can say no to internet bullying. Don't let this faggot be forgotten. Matthew, you were a loser, but you got a future. Just kidding, you're dead.
We are not robots. We are not slaves. We are Banana Nation.
You know, people call me body positive, and I think that's horse crap. I'm not body positive, I'm body honest. Like this chick right here.
Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at whether aspartame is bad for you. A quick online search of aspartame will provide you with numerous opinions about this artificial sweetener. Some claim it causes things like cancer, seizures, multiple sclerosis, lupus, memory problems, and even brain tumors. Just about every governmental organization in the world regulating food products have deemed it safe for human consumption though. But, you know, just about every governing body in the world still gets the sodium raises blood pressure myth wrong, despite overwhelming scientific evidence to the contrary. So let's not take their word on the whole aspartame thing. In an attempt to provide some sanity to the controversy, let's take an in-depth look at this sweet supposed compound of death and see if we can't make sense of the madness. Aspartame was first developed by G.D. Searle & Co. in 1965. In 1974, it gained approval from the FDA as a food additive. The benefit of using aspartame over sugar is the result of how sweet it is. Sugar and aspartame both contain about 4 calories per gram. However, aspartame is about 180 times sweeter than sugar, thus you need much less to get the same perception of sweetness. This is the reason it works so well as a low-calorie sweetener. Aspartame is made of the 2 amino acids, phenylalanine and aspartic acid, and the alcohol methanol. All of the health concerns regarding the sweet supplement are a result of what these 3 things can do to the body. The question then becomes, do the 3 parts of aspartame cause health problems? The quick answer is yes, at high enough levels they do, but please don't stop watching here. The quick answer isn't the whole answer in this case. So if high doses of aspartame are harmful, why are they allowed in our food? It turns out low doses aren't harmful, and we even need these amino acids to perform certain functions within the body. In fact, phenylalanine and aspartic acid are either produced by our bodies from many other foods, or are already found naturally in our diets. Methanol, more commonly known as wood alcohol, is definitely not needed by our bodies. If you're wondering why it's allowed in aspartame, that's because it's already found in many drinks like wine, whiskey, and beer. As you might have guessed from the fact that humans have been ingesting these for ages at low levels, it seems that methanol has no long-term consequences. That said, anything that we take into our bodies in high enough doses can be harmful. Arguably, the most basic of human needs is water, and even water in high doses can kill you in what is being called water intoxication. In the end, almost everything we take in needs to fall within a certain range to be beneficial, or at least not overly harmful. Some things, even in minuscule doses, can be deadly. For many others, it takes large doses to have lasting effects. The phrase "everything in moderation" comes to mind here. Since we already have aspartame's 3 ingredients in many of the foods we eat, the question of aspartame's safety is more appropriately, are the levels found in aspartame and for those who may be ingesting high enough to cause unwanted health effects? To answer that, I'll go into a little more depth on the aforementioned 3 things that make up aspartame. Aspartic acid is one of the many amino acids that help make the numerous proteins that our bodies use. It helps the liver by aiding in the removal of ammonia and is involved in the production of antibodies created by the immune system. It can be found in many different types of foods like asparagus, avocados, sugar beets, sausages, and molasses. Too much aspartic acid can be seen in several disease processes like Lou Gehrig's disease, epilepsy, and certain strokes. Unfortunately, for those fighting against aspartame, the levels seen in these conditions are several fold higher than can be achieved by eating aspartame at recommended amounts. There has also never been a direct cause and effect shown between these diseases and increased aspartic acid intake. Methanol in general does result in some unwanted reactions within the body. Specifically, it's taken up by the cells of the body, and the production of formaldehyde and formic acid are the result. Formaldehyde at high levels will cause proteins to form abnormally. The result is proteins that no longer function. Formic acid at high levels will cause abnormal metabolic processes within cells, causing them to cease functioning. The result is death to that cell due to a lack of energy. This is because it disrupts the organelle responsible for the cell's metabolism, known as your mitochondria. Some cells within the body are extremely sensitive to formic acid, specifically the ones in the optic nerve. This is why blindness is associated with poisoning. So does aspartame produce enough methanol to harm people? Well, probably not. There are numerous foods we eat every day that have the same or even higher amounts of methanol than aspartame. Here on minor side, foods like tomatoes and tomato juice and citrus fruits and their associated juices are great examples here. This brings us to the last ingredient of aspartame, phenylalanine. There is a rare disorder called phenylketonuria, affecting about 1 in 10,000 people. This ailment leaves your body with an inability to break down phenylalanine. Left untreated, toxic levels of phenylalanine build up. The results can be things like developmental disorders, cardiac rhythm problems, seizures, and severe learning disabilities. Fortunately, most babies born in the developed world are tested for this disorder, and treatment usually involves diet control. Diet control because there are many foods that contain higher levels of phenylalanine than aspartame, specifically the many different types of proteins we take in. Knowing this disorder exists, the FDA requires that aspartame products be labeled specifically for phenylketonuria patients. Like any food additive evaluated by the FDA, there is an extensive process that takes place before manufacturers are allowed to put it in our foods. When the FDA first approved aspartame as an additive, there were numerous controversies surrounding its approval. These controversies revolved around the studies the FDA looked at advocating aspartame's safety. That said, since its initial distributing to the masses, there have been countless new studies performed looking at aspartame's safety. Numerous other reviews of the research have been conducted by several agencies, including the FDA and the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA. The most recent was conducted by the EFSA and issued on December 10, 2013. The review looked at almost all studies performed on aspartame, in animals and humans alike. Knowing there is such a large controversy surrounding the supplement, the EFSA's independent panel of experts issued an open public call for any data, comments, or concerns on aspartame. According to Alicia Mortensen, chair of the EFSA's panel, this opinion represents one of the most comprehensive risk assessments of aspartame ever undertaken. The panel concluded that aspartame does not cause cancer at the levels consumed by humans, and it doesn't cause problems during pregnancy. Overall, there were no safety concerns at the current ADI, acceptable daily intake, of 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. For your reference, according to the American Cancer Society, ACS, there are on average about 180 milligrams of aspartame in a typical 12-ounce can of diet soda. So an adult weighing 165 pounds would need to drink about 16 cans of diet soda per day to exceed the recommended limit, which itself is said drastically below dangerous thresholds. Specifically, according to the ACS, the acceptable daily intake is set at about 100 times less than the smallest amount that might cause health concerns based on studies done in lab animals. Not that you'd really be able to drink that much in reality, but if you did manage to drink 1,600 cans of diet soda in one day, that's one every 54 seconds, you'd have much bigger problems to worry about than your aspartame intake. Even though the EFSA's extremely comprehensive review should have put this issue to rest, there are researchers who still think they didn't go far enough. Eric Millstone, a science and food policy expert at the University of Sussex in the UK, wrote an open letter to colleagues in response to the EFSA's review. In it, he states the panel knowingly ignored studies showing negative effects of aspartame and deemed them unreliable, all while studies showing no ill effects were deemed reliable. The initial question then still does remain: does aspartame have negative health effects? Some studies say it can, some studies say it can't. However, every study we could find showing negative effects did so at levels not normally consumed by any human. They were also all animal studies. Again, even water will kill you if you drink too much of it. In response to the numerous animal studies that did show an increase in health problems at high levels, Dr. David Hatton, acting director of the Division of Health Effects Evaluation at the FDA, states, "The legitimate attempts that have been made to confirm and replicate allegations of adverse reactions from aspartame ingestion have not been successful, and the US FDA continues to consider this to be among the most thoroughly tested of food additives. This information continues to confirm the safety of aspartame." In the end, at levels recommended by health safety experts, aspartame has never been shown to result in negative health effects. Should you want to get those unwanted health problems, according to animal studies, just consume an unrealistic amount of diet soft drinks on a daily basis for several years. Just remember, you would get the same problems should you continue to take in excessive amounts of things like beers, wines, red meats, tomatoes, and sugar beets over those same few years. If you did, however, manage to drink this much soda, whether you drank it with aspartame or sugar, you're in for an awful lot of other health problems which will most likely kill you well before anything like cancer from aspartame. So I really hope you found the video informative and maybe we finally dispelled this rumor. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up below and subscribe to our channel for brand new videos just like this every day of the week. Also, if you have a question like this that you'd like us to answer, do leave it in the comments below, and if you see one in the comments that you would like us to answer, give it a thumbs up. We'll look at those with more favor and create some videos based on those suggestions. So do that below in the comments section. Also, if you like this video, check out some of our other videos over there on the right, and thank you for watching. Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at the truth about whether there's a link between sodium and high blood pressure. Let's get started.
The truth about sodium and blood pressure. The debate over eating too much salt has been around since the 1960s. Almost every major governmental health organization embraces the idea that eating too much salt is damaging to your health. Most major news outlets report on these recommendations, and many people try to follow them. This is most likely why most of us, especially the elderly with heart problems, know to reduce the amount of salt we eat. Those of us who like the idea that any recommendation be backed up by solid evidence have to step back on this one. It turns out there is currently no solid evidence that salt will chronically raise your blood pressure. Yes, none. So why have most health organizations pushed the idea of low-sodium diets? The theory behind their supposition is sound, and there are some studies that show a minor risk of elevated blood pressure with extremely high salt intake. Unfortunately, there are many other studies that show no increase, and still some that show reducing salt intake might actually raise your blood pressure. Let's look at the controversy in more detail. The idea that salt will increase your blood pressure has to do with osmotic pressure. Osmosis is the movement of a solvent, in this case water, across a semi-permeable membrane, like cell walls, from areas of lower solute concentration, in this case salt, to areas of higher solute concentration. This naturally equalizes the solute concentration on both sides of the membrane. The osmotic pressure is also why salt can be used to preserve meat. So the theory goes that when we eat too much salt, our bloodstream has more sodium in it than the surrounding areas of our body. This causes the water in those areas to be pulled into our bloodstream. The increase in water within the arteries and veins causes an increase in pressure within the arteries and veins. The salt itself also acts like an irritant within the arteries, causing them to constrict. This too is thought to increase your blood pressure. The theory seems, on the surface, very sound. After all, we can make the process of salt pulling water through membranes happen time and time again in the lab. The question is, does this actually happen with living bodies? Does this actually cause long-term hypertension, high blood pressure? In 1969, Lewis Dahl testified before Senator George McGovern's Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs. He was concerned about the high concentrations of sodium in baby foods and thought this could cause increase in people's blood pressure long term. His reasoning was that studies done on rats showed increases in blood pressure of the rats. The conversation about salt and hypertension began to circulate among health organizations. The National Institutes of Health in 1972 began introducing high blood pressure education programs. As their evidence, they pointed out, observationally, populations who ate very little sodium had low incidence of high blood pressure. They also pointed to the rat modeling. Scientists at the time questioned this, as the rat studies had them eating 60 times what the average person does. They also pointed out that populations who ate low-sodium diets also ate low amounts of other things, like sugar, which also affects osmosis. Despite their objections, publicly the idea of high-sodium diets causing high blood pressure was here to stay, and remains today. The Centers for Disease Control, the National Institutes of Health, the American Heart Association, and many other organizations currently promote low-sodium diets. Despite the seemingly unified front presented by these distinguished organizations, the controversy among scientists is extremely heated. In 1998, award-winning author Torbs published The Political Science of Salt, the Journal of Science. He stated, "The controversy over the benefits, if any, of salt reduction now constitutes one of the longest-running, most vitriolic and surreal disputes in all of medicine." One Surgeon General in a report wrote the speed with which the US federal agencies embraced sodium reduction stood in stark contrast to how long it had taken for recommendations to emerge on the importance of reducing blood cholesterol levels. He also noted that the difference was even more remarkable considering the absence of published research that actually tested the theory. On the flip side, Sir Michael Rawlings, the chair of the National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence, who promotes salt reduction in diets, argued that guidance in policymaking is based on the best available evidence. The evidence may not, however, be very good and is rarely complete. Not a very strong argument for reducing salt intake. Let's look at a few relatively recent studies. In 2008, Italian researchers began publishing the results from a series of clinical trials, all of which reported that among patients with heart failure, reducing salt consumption increased the risk of death. These studies were followed by others, which showed that among type 1 and type 2 diabetics, healthy Europeans, and patients with chronic heart failure, those that ate salt at the lower limit of the normal range